Your dog knows when you're sad. Here's the science. This is the science behind why your dog shows up when you're hurting, and what it reveals about the bond between dogs and humans goes deeper than most people ever stop to consider. Your dog isn't guessing when you're sad. They're running a detection system so layered and precise that researchers spent years mapping it, and it works on complete strangers, just as reliably as it works on you. Start with a study that shifted how scientists approach this question entirely. Researchers at the University of London found that dogs approach a crying person far more readily than someone who is humming or talking. And here's the part that changes everything. That held true even when the crying person was a stranger the dog had never encountered before. Not their owner. Not a familiar face. A stranger in distress, and the dog moved toward them anyway. That result dismantles the comfortable explanation most people land on, which is that dogs learn their owner's emotional patterns over months and years of living together. Familiarity can't explain a dog crossing a room toward someone they've never met, which meant the behavior runs at a level that training and habit can't account for. Dogs aren't responding to the specific people they love. Emotional distress, as a category, triggers the response across individuals, regardless of relationship. Your dog doesn't comfort you because they learn to over time. That drive comes pre-installed. Now here's how the actual mechanism works, because it operates across 3 channels at once, and the third one surprises most people. Facial expressions and body language, those to make sense to most dog owners. Scent is the one that reframes the whole picture. When humans experience stress or sadness, the body releases cortisol, and dogs can smell that biochemical shift happening in real time. Long before your posture changes or your face does anything visible, the chemical information is already moving through the air, and a dog's sensory system picks it up and registers it as de-stress. What that means practically is that your dog receives the news before you've announced it, and in many cases before you've fully felt it yourself. The cortisol arrives first. By the time you've sat down and your expression starts to shift, your dog has already processed the scent data and started deciding how to respond. 3 channels running simultaneously, and the one nobody thinks about lands earliest. That's not intuition. That's a sensory system doing exactly the job it developed to do. Detecting an emotion and actually responding to it are 2 separate things, and the response itself is where the psychology gets harder to dismiss. Dogs don't just register human emotions from a distance. Their own emotional state shifts in response through a process called emotional contagion. And what makes that worth paying attention to is where else that process shows up: in human infants bonding with caregivers. When a calm parent holds a newborn, the baby's nervous system begins to sync with the parent's emotional state, traveling between them through a mix of behavioral and physiological channels. Dogs do a version of this with humans, which meant when your dog settles next to you during a hard moment and just stays there without doing anything obvious, they're engaging in the same co-regulation mechanism that underlies early human attachment. This is why it registers as understanding rather than just proximity. Functionally, the dog isn't processing your sadness the way another person would, but their system responds to it physically and emotionally in a way that produces real comfort on both sides. The dog isn't performing sympathy. Their state actually changes, and that shared shift is what makes the moment feel like more than a pet being nearby. To understand why dogs developed any of this, you have to go back to where pack life actually demanded it. Emotional alignment between pack members wasn't a social nicety in that environment. It carried survival weight. A pack that could read distress signals from other members and respond fast moved better, hunted better, and protected itself better than one that couldn't. Over a long stretch of time, the dogs with sharper emotional attunement had an edge, and that edge got passed forward. And then, when dogs shifted into human settlements and human social structures replaced pack structures, that same capacity turned its attention toward us. Dogs didn't just learn to tolerate humans over the generations. Their social and emotional intelligence reorganized to include humans as part of the group, and everything that came bundled with pack membership, including the attunement, the co-regulation, the pull toward distress, transferred with it. What you're witnessing when your dog finds you on a bad day isn't a trained behavior or a lucky guess. Thousands of years of coevolution produced that moment. And it's sitting on your couch. There's one aspect of this that doesn't get discussed enough, and it matters. The 3-channel reading system, scent, body language, facial expression, doesn't require any participation from you. You don't have to signal anything. You don't have to behave in any particular way or make any visible gesture. The information comes off your body whether you intend it to or not, which meant your dog often registers how you're feeling before the people around you do. Before you've said anything to anyone, and sometimes before you've named the feeling yourself. Most people spend a fair amount of their lives hoping to be seen clearly by the people they're close to. And it turns out the one who does it most consistently, without being asked, without needing you to explain, is the animal sleeping by your feet. That's not a small observation. That's the whole point of this video. Bringing it back to where we started, your dog showed up when you were crying because cortisol reached them before your face changed, because their emotional state shifted in sync with yours through the same mechanism human infants use to bond with caregivers, and because pack-based evolution over thousands of years built them specifically to care about the emotional condition of the individuals they live with. The University of London research confirmed it works on strangers. The emotional contagion research confirmed it's the same bonding process found in early human development. The scent research confirmed it's biochemical before it ever becomes behavioral. None of those channels operate independently. All three run at once, pointed at you, all the time. The next time your dog appears without being called, settles close without explanation, and simply stays, that's not luck or coincidence or a dog looking for a snack. That's one of the most finely tuned emotional detection systems in the animal kingdom, doing exactly what it was shaped to do, and you happen to be the one it's shaped to do it for. If this changed how you think about your dog's behavior, share it with someone who has a dog they love. Subscribe for the next video, where we get into the cats versus dogs intelligence debate, and the neuroscience answer lands somewhere neither side is expecting.